Hello students, today we'll discuss about the dimensioning. A dimensioning tool is listed under home ribbon tab and in annotation panel. You can find the dimensioning tool here. If I select it, I will be in a dimensioning tool. You can see the command line. What command line is saying? Select the object or specify the first extension or origin for dimensioning. After selecting this dimensioning tool, you can select either a line which you want to dimension or you can select the endpoints. We'll see it by both the methods. First of all, let me change the layer. I will use a different layer for dimensioning. So select the dimensioning tool, select this end and the other end between which you have to dimension, and by scrolling the mouse you can place this dimension anywhere you want. Do not place it very near to the object line or very far from the object line. It should be at a specific distance from the object line, like this. So this dimension, I have given these dimensions. Before modifying it, you need to understand what are the nomenclature in this dimensioning. We'll press escape to come out of the dimensioning tool or dimension tool. Now if you see the nomenclature, this line, white line, we call this as object line. This is our original object line or original line. Then this vertical lines which are coming from the object line, these two lines, they are called as extension lines. So we draw two extension line like this. Then we draw this horizontal line, we call this as a dimension line. This horizontal line is dimension line or a dim line. Then we place a text. Now text is too small to see. If I zoom it in, you can see the text. This 100 is the length of that line, and this is what we call as the text. And at the end of this dimension line we have arrowheads. You can see these are the arrowheads. So this is the nomenclature. It is very important that you should understand this: object line or origin line, then extension lines, then dimension line, and text. Now what we want this dimension to be of specific nature. We want this text to be visible. If you are seeing this diagram, we want arrowheads to be visible. We want this text to be above the dimension line and not in between like this. We want this text to be without any decimals. All these modifications we have to do, and these modifications we can do using by modifying the dimension styles. So how to do this? Pay attention. dimstyle, if I type, that is dim style. dimstyle, dim style. If you select this, if you type this, you will get a dialog box. You can see, if I, you have to click on modify to modify the or to do the changes in your dimensioning. So I'll click here modify. Now you have a tabs at the top: lines, symbols and arrows, text, feet, etc. Lines means you will modify the lines, those are present in dimensioning. What lines? Dimension line, extension line. You can see the first option here, dimension line. See all the specification written under this dimension line in this box. This is all are the properties of this dimension line, which is this horizontal line. Then extension lines, these are the properties of extension line, that means this vertical lines, right? Then these are some other distances. We'll be discussing about all of this. Then symbols and arrows. Now this, at the end of the dimension line we have the arrowheads. Now we want this arrowhead to be close filled. It should be close filled. You can change the arrowhead type whatever you want, and whatever changes you are doing in your dimensioning, it will be visible in this black diagram. So if I select the close blank arrowhead, you can see the changes getting reflected here. See, as I have selected the close blank arrowhead, the arrowheads has become close blank. If I select a dot, then you can see the arrowheads are becoming that. So whatever changes you are doing in your dimensioning, those changes will be reflected here. So I want it to be close filled in at both the ends. Like it should be close filled, everything should be close filled. Arrow size, now you want this arrow to be visible, so I will increase this arrow size. You can keep it any number you want, it should be visible properly. It should not be too large and it should not be too small. So after changing it, it will be able to see it here, but we actually have to see in our diagram how it will look like. So for that, what we can do, I will press OK. I will press here set current and close. If I do that, you can see the size of arrowheads has increased, and these arrowheads are looking proper. Okay, it should not be too big and it should not be too small. So as it is visible and looking proper, so I will keep that 4 as a size of arrowheads. So we'll go back in dimension style, dim style. So dimstyle, again modify. We'll modify the other things too. We'll modify the other things. We have modified the arrowhead. I have made the size of arrowhead as 4, right? Then I want the text to be visible as well, so I'll go in text. Now here what changes you have to do, first of all select the ISO standard. We do the dimensioning as per ISO standards, so we'll select the ISO standard. Then I will increase the text height. I will change it. I will make it 4 based on the diagram size of the diagram. This number may change. If your diagram is bigger, so you have to select the bigger number in this way. So I have selected ISO standard, then done it here, text height as 4. Okay, set current, close. So see, you can see here the size of the text has increased. Now I want this text to be above the dimension line. So for that I will press spacebar to go back to the dimension style. So you can modify and then text. For this, what you have to do is see the changes you will be making will be visible here. I'll make it above. So what will happen, vertical above, so the dimensions are getting placed above the dimension line. You can see the changes made here. And I want some space. You can see this dimension or text is touching the dimension line. I don't want that. So this is the number offset from dimension line or offset from dim line. That means what distance you want between dimension line and text. So it will increase it. I'll make it 0.5. Is it looking okay? So you can check it here or you can check it in this diagram. So I have made it 0.5. I can slightly increase it further, 0.7, right? So these are the modifications we have done for the text color. What text color you want? Generally we keep the text color as a white, so we don't go by layer. We will select a white because I want the text to be white. Dimension style, dimension lines and extension line will be in green color, but the text should be in white color. So I've done these changes. Let us see how this will reflect. Set current, close. You can see the text is placed above the dimension line and there is a proper space between dimension line and text is in white color. Okay, so spacebar will modify the things again. What modification we want? We don't want this decimals to be visible, so I have to go in primary units. In this you make a precision to be 0 because all the dimensions will be using it. It will be a whole number, so we don't require any decimal or fractions. So I will, you have to make this precision to be 0. Then come to the lines part. What changes you have to do here? First of all, this number extend beyond dim line. This thing, what is this thing? This settings are for extension line. So extend beyond dim lines, it indicates this length of the extension line beyond the dimension line. That means if I let us zoom it and let me show you. I'll do the changes, and if I zoom it in, so this is the extension line and this is the dimension line. So this part of the extension line going above the dimension line, we call this length to be extend beyond dim line. So you can see the same number here, modify lines, this extend beyond dim line. So I want that distance to be properly visible. I'll increase it, I'll make it 1. You can see the changes are getting done over here. You can increase it further. Do not make it too large, and it should not be too small that it will be visible like a rectangle. It should not be visible like a rectangle. So this extension line should be properly extended beyond the dim line. So I'll make it 1. Offset from origin, we'll see this distance. What is this distance? This is the gap between origin line or object line and extension line. So if I increase this gap, let us make it 1. You can see the gap over here, the gaps between extension line and object line. You can see the gap clearly. So I made these changes. I'll press OK, set current, close. So you can see the extension lines are properly extending beyond the dimension line. There is a proper gap between object line and extension line. Dimensions are also properly placed. So this is how this is what the settings you have to do in dimension style. After doing all the settings, how to place the dimensions properly? So I'll select the dimension tool. Vertical dimensioning, you can select the endpoints or you can directly select the line which you want. If you are not able to select, you can zoom it in a bit. You can select directly click on the line which you want to dimension, and by dragging the mouse you can place the dimension wherever you want. So I'll place it here, 35. Now I'll dimension this length, 25. Now do not place it here. Okay, it should extend it properly beyond the dim line. You should not use the object line for the dimension. Okay, it should be placed over here properly. Right, I will dimension this length. Now this dimension should be placed in line with this 25. It should not be staggered like this. It should not be like this. It should be placed in the line with 25. So if you have to modify this, so you can select and place it here like this. I'll tell you how to do it. Delete the dimension. You can select and delete the dimension. I'll select this end, I'll select this end, and I'll select this point so that it will be in a line with this 25. Again I'll dimension this part. Now if you don't want to select this point, if you want this dimension to be started from here, as you can see here, this dimension line is overlapping this object line, or extension line is overlapping the object line. So if you don't want this, so how can you dimension the thing? You see, you can select this point, and the other point, what you can do, you just drag this downward. Do not select it, just drag it downward like this, and you can place the dimension in this way and like this. So that means it is indicating this distance. In this way you can do the dimensioning like this. For this end, all the dimensions are placed in a single horizontal line. For the vertical dimensioning, if you have to dimension, let us say this height over here, so I will place it here. If you have to dimension this height or any other length like this, so you can select this, and it should be dragged further away from the dimension you have placed previously. So the small dimension you should place it first, then you go for the larger dimensions like this. For example, if you have to dimension this height, so what you can do, I will delete this 35. I will first dimension this part from here till here. I'll extend and place it here. Then you can dimension this 35 like this in line with 15. And if you have to dimension any other length greater than this, you can like here, let me select this like this. You can place it here like this, like the total height. So in this way we will dimension the lengths or line object. If you have to dimension a circle, what you have to do, you just have to select the circle. Now when you'll try to select, sometimes you'll get the object snaps of the circle like this. So if you have to dimension a circle, just zoom it in and select the circle. After zooming in, and you can see the diameter is getting dimension. You can place it anywhere you want. If you have to specifically dimension a circle, like if you want to dimension a radius of the circle, so what you can do, we have an option here. You are seeing a linear here, so you can select this drop down arrow. I want to dimension a radius. You can select a radius, select a circle, and you can see R18, that is radius 18. Similarly, you can dimension the diameter specifically if you want, like this. Like so, this is how we dimension a circle. If you have to dimension the angle, if you have to dimension this angle, again you can select this drop down arrow. You can select this angular form, select this line, select this line, and you can place the angular dimension. So this is how the dimensioning works. And I hope you have understood this. Thank you.